creating an opportunity for other people to come on.
But being an agency owner, it's got its highs and lows.
Because I want my client to feel loved and not just another number.
How many of this, which is just based on their effort. If their effort's there, the results will come.
Yeah, because when we do hard things, that's when we grow. When we stay in our comfort zone, there's no growth, right? I have not one, not two, but three amazing guests today that you guys are going to be able to get the insight and talk to some agency owners who have teams underneath them and what they've just graduated from, what some of their team members graduated from. We have two agents that have been on before, and then one brand new agent that is new to being marketing for insurance agents. So we are super excited for just what's going to happen to have fun. Guys, we're just going to have fun this next hour. So my name is Trista. I'm one of the coaches with Jumpstart Go. I'm the training specialist and sales coach, and then over the Producers Academy, which you guys are going to hear about today. And we have three agency owners who just recently graduated from the Producers Academy. One that's already re-enrolled her next producer into the Producers Academy for another round so that they can see the results that she's been able to see going forth from the results of the other agents that she's stuck in. So we're super, super excited. I've been in insurance for 15 years now, started out on the PNC side, and I love all things sales. Never would have ever imagined myself doing sales, but I absolutely love it, and I love to coach and to train. That's enough about me because you don't want to know about that. You want to know about these three amazing guests. I'm going to shoot it over. Valerie, would you just introduce us? Where are you coming from? What lines of business do you do? And tell us something really fun about yourself.
My name is Valerie. I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana. I do strictly final expense. I've been doing it since 2019 with Senior Life Insurance Company. Something fun about me, I'm a pretty spontaneous kind of person. So if there's anything happening, I'm like on it. Anything spur of the moment, let's do it. That's about it.
Awesome. Love it, Val.
Thanks.
Perfect. All right, let's go over here to Caleb. Caleb, will you introduce yourself? Some of them may recognize you from just a few short weeks ago, but tell us a little bit about you, your agency. How long have you been in the business? You just celebrated a milestone, and then maybe something interesting about you.
Sure. Well, hey, everybody. My name's Caleb O'Donnell, and I've been in the insurance business basically just a little over a year now. I started a farmers insurance agency in Uniontown, Ohio, back in July of 22. And we focused mainly on P&C, so your auto, your homes, all that good stuff. But with things kind of changing in the P&C world, we're trying to pivot a little bit and do a little more commercial, a little more life, and go into those lines a little bit more now. Something interesting about me, heavily involved in my church and serving in that ministry there. So that's something about me and my family, just a little sneak peek. But yeah, super excited to be on.
Awesome. Super, super exciting. All right, Jen, the one and only newbie to the marketing for insurance. Jen, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, where you're located at, and tell us a little bit about your insurance background, and then one interesting fact about yourself, my friend.
Okay, Jen Cormier over here in Louisiana. Rain, that is small frog capital of the world. I am strictly final expense. Been doing this for about 5.5 years. Only thing I've ever done and will probably ever do. Love it so much. With Senior Life Insurance Company. Fun fact about me, I am a derby girl. I roller derby. Yeah, haven't hurt nobody or killed them. So Louisiana, we have a derby team here. Kind of haven't been in it since COVID, but yeah, that's my fun fact about me. I love derby.
Awesome. I could see that, Jen. Now that you say it, I can totally see you like I could see it. I didn't know that about you. How did I not know that about you?
Yeah, it's fun. It's good. Good stuff, man.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into, guys. You guys are probably wondering, you guys are logging on. Who are these? They're agency owners, and they've recently graduated, and their agents that they put through have recently graduated from the Producers Academy. And we've been hearing, and you guys may have been hearing, a lot of talk around the Producers Academy, as tomorrow we're officially opening the first classes tomorrow. I am on pins and needles, excited for how it's going to go. We just totally revamped it, made it much more affordable, just totally did everything, ripped all the band-aids off and said, okay, let's make this the best of the best. And so I'm confident that we are doing that. And so we're going to talk just a little bit with Caleb and Jen and Valerie about their journey as agency owners, why they made the investment into their team, into themselves, and then just kind of what that has kind of done. And so I just wanted to launch it off with just sharing some amazing things about these three. They didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm going to share just a few amazing things about them before I start asking them some questions. So Valerie, I've been able to work with her. She's actually putting her producer in, another producer in for the third time this time. So been working with her not for just 12 weeks, but really 6 months and going on 9 months now with the next 3 months going forward. Actually a year, because you did 12 months, or you did a 6-month package. So super, super exciting. But I've seen her go from afraid to set goals because she wasn't even sure what a goal was. She just said, hey, let's just wake up and fly by the seat of the pants, to now she's helping others set goals and achieve the goals, breaking down the goals. And this past month, her and her team, they crossed over the finish line of $136,000 in team production from her and her team. That's huge, Valerie. We have Jen, who is just as amazing with her producer. Let me just say this about Jen first. Jen has this amazing heart to want to help everybody and anybody that she can. And she put her producer in, and she's seen her producer's income increase drastically over the last few months. I was able to coach and see her producer just have such a confidence grow within her because of the way that Jen was pouring into this producer's life and believing and standing with her. She really came, her coaching calls with me were really able to breathe life into her agency, to get her agents behind what the why was and the vision behind her agency and what the goals were. And the one thing that she wanted to really have was her attendance go up for those that joined the team meetings. We all know team meetings are never fun. And so she got to see her team meeting double for attendance, the vision she casted. And last month, you guys, she nearly crossed over the $100,000 mark. But in the months prior, she's consistent. That's one thing about Jen, is she is consistent with crossing over that $100,000 mark with production. And both of these ladies, it's not about the money for them. It's about people's lives that they're helping to protect and transform. So that's just a little bit about Jen. And oh my goodness, we still have Caleb to do. But Caleb, we've seen he's seen in his agency, just production, his agent that he went through wrote nearly or almost $30,000 in just 1 month in PNC, guys. If you guys know anything about PNC, that can be challenging right now with PNC, with just a lot of home and a lot of auto he was writing. So they had one of the best months ever, and Caleb got to see his agency's closing rate double. His producer doubled his closing rate in just a few short weeks of being in the Producers Academy. Listen, that is just amazing. And you guys the audience are in for a treat to be able to just learn from Caleb, Jen, and Valerie, and for them to just impart their wisdom and knowledge into you. So without further ado, now that I can catch my breath, I'm going to ask some questions. Valerie, I'm going to start with you. I know she hates it when I do that, so that's why I do it. But I'm going to start with you, Valerie. Just kind of from an agency owner perspective, Valerie, will you share with us your journey as an agency owner and how it began and how the Producers Academy really played a role in shaping your path?
Yeah, so, my journey as an agency owner, whenever I started here, my whole objective was just to work part-time with Senior Life. That was in 2019, until under some, circumstances out of my control, I had to increase my income tremendously because we had some, changes within the household, and I knew that I could do that. I immediately called my mentor and I was like, hey, listen, this is what I got to do, right? And so it had been right about a year, and I remember getting introduced to you, Trista, and was like, hey, listen, we have this Producers Academy. And I'm like, hey, what is it, right? And so I've been broken before, but I've never been broken like I was broken by Elle in Hollywood.
Shout out to Elle.
In regards to goals. And so, of course, like not knowing how to actually put those goals down on paper. How do I actually get to them? What do I do to get there, right? I never knew. It was just wake up and produce. And I've learned that each Producers Academy that I do, I learn something new, and I'm able to implement something in a different fashion to be able to excel and move my agency in a different direction, into the positive. And so it's played a very important role because goals, man, just being able to time block and write down my goals and knowing how how to calculate those numbers, which, guys, y'all know I am scared of numbers, except when I'm producing, right? But being able to break down those goals to where it's not such a large amount and you can actually see that smaller obtainable goal makes it so much easier to actually get to. So Producers Academy was great.
Awesome. What about you, Caleb? Kind of share a little bit about you're a new agency owner coming into property and casualty. We all know that it's up and down right now. We're not quite sure what's happening and what carrier is going to pull out and what underwriting guidelines are going to come out. But you had a vision for your team and where you wanted your producers to be and how you wanted them to be able to be successful for their family as well. So kind of talk about how the Producers Academy really played a role in shaping your path and in the path of your producers and your agency.
Yeah, so when I first started my agency, obviously I had a vision for what I wanted it to be. And one of the biggest factors of it was creating an opportunity for other people to come on and be able to create a wonderful life. And, so I had a vision for that, but I wouldn't say I necessarily knew the blueprint for it. Everybody always just said, when you open up your own business, whether it's insurance or anything, there's just a lot of sweat equity. So you're going to have to work hard. But I didn't know what that looked like, right? So I tried to quickly get around other people who did it. And so through joining the TCC and then the Producers Academy, I was able to get around people who did it, whether it was life insurance, PNC. And so I slowly began to see the blueprint for what it takes. And, I knew long term, I didn't want to be in a situation to where I'm the one that's writing all the business in my agency. I wanted an agency that was working for me, And so once we decided, all right, Producers Academy is the way to go, we need to put one of ours through it. We joined it and immediately saw the rewards from it. But it was because everything was so thought out and just how each day is planned, each call is planned, and kind of what, as you talked about with Valerie, just having the goals in place and now the accountability to go after those goals. And we've learned that the goals in our agency are very public. They're not private. Everybody knows what each other's goals are. And that's kind of how it was in the Producers Academy. All of us, and we had accountability partners. So there was somebody else who knew if I wasn't holding up my end of the bargain. And we've kind of adopted that role a little bit into the agency, not a little bit, a lot, where we all are very comfortable sharing our goals because we understand that accountability is just going to push us to try and make one extra call. Ask for the sale one more time. And so I think that's the biggest culture change in the agency is just the accountability side of it and understanding goals in the bad. They're a good thing, especially when made public. It helps us push just a little harder.
I love that. Thanks for sharing, Caleb. All right, Jen, it's your turn. Here's your moment. What about you? How has that been? I know when you first signed up, you were ready to go actually prior to this round, but then due to some unforeseen circumstances, you had to wait and you guys waited. And so then you came in like ready to hit, like you were ready for that you were at the base and you were ready to hit that home run. And I think that you've hit plenty of home runs these past 12 weeks and with your team and how that's going. But kind of talk about how the Producers Academy really kind of played in a role in shaping your path as an agency owner, Jen.
Well, I know, for me, a lot of times, so, Bianca and I are right on the same level just about, and like, she always goes first. It's almost like I push her off the edge and she does things first. So I watched her do all this stuff, and I was like, okay, well, you go first. I'm gonna see what it does for you. And I saw it do some, she'd get a lot of content from you and it would pass down to me. She'd trickle down a little bit of stuff to me. I'm like, well, what Tristan teach you this time? What Tristan give you this time? So constantly give me something. I was like, I lost my godfather, which kind of set me back. But I think that was all of a God thing too, in a sense, because one of my agents, Myra, when I was in Miami, that's when I first met you guys, and did that whole training with you guys. And it was just amazing, man. Like I freaking just ate it up. That right there just gave me, like, I was like, man, I need to be a part of this. But I was also had in my mind to be putting this one particular agent through. Lo and behold, I didn't realize she didn't know I was thinking of her either, but she was already in communication with you and you guys about joining. And it was really cool when I told her, like, hey, listen, I'm actually going to put you through PA, and it was really mind blowing. And I know that she just embraced it and really took it to another level, and I'm grateful for that. But being an agency owner, it's got its highs and lows. And I had like a lot of people not really attending the meetings that I was having once a week, and for me, like, I've never owned a business before. This is my first time owning a business. I've always done my own thing or works for somebody else. So for this and you giving me things to share with my team, was able to get me more people to get involved, and I had more new fresh content to deliver to them, that actually like got them like thinking, outside the box. I wanted them to be a part of the team and what we're doing, so doing this really, helped me with a lot of some content to get back to my agents, because I mean, for me, I'm still learning, I'm still learning how to be an agency owner. I've only been doing this almost about 2 years with the whole hiring thing, so just being able to breathe life into them. But you can't unless I have to empty my cup, but also get it filled from somebody else and from other places. So also getting my own training, always, constantly learning, and that's stuff that you can give back to people. And you can't give back to anybody if you don't have anything that you've invested in yourself with. So this really gave me something to invest in myself and to be able to give back, so yeah. Every week I was dumping my cup and, getting more from you. Give me more. So I mean, my book is like, I've got a fat book full of notes. So it's going to keep me busy for a while.
I love it. And it is, you guys, and that was part of the vision when Elle and David and the team, when we got around and we sat down about Producers Academy, was to be able to help agency owners. As an agency owner myself, I know what it was like to wear multiple hats, right? You have to produce, you have to sell, you have to custom, service the book, you have to handle claims, you're being pulled in multiple ways. You have to build your centers of influence. You have to go to these meetings as agency owners, or even just an agent yourself if you're just you, and you have to do all these things, that it can sometimes get so hard. And I know for me, whenever I was an agency owner, I remember sitting back and saying, oh, who can help me train my team? And I was just like, that would be such a huge thing for me to be able to have somebody come in, train my team on how to sell, how to overcome objections. And it wasn't because I didn't want to do it, right? Because I love doing it. It was I didn't have the time because I was dealing with disgruntled clients or disgruntled, prospects. I was dealing with claims. I mean, we lived in Texas and Hurricane Harvey came in. And so like everything was off the table at that point because we were underneath water. I mean, there was so many things that could happen. And so when Producers Academy came around, we said this could be something as an agency owner to be able to invest into your staff, into your producers, so that we can help you as an agency owner and carry your burden, right? We want to be able to help carry each other's burdens. And this is a way that we can come in and Producers Academy can say, hey, we're going to teach your people how to sell. Yes, there's still some training you have to do. You have to train them on how to do certain things within your organization, but to teach you how to sell, overcome the objections, ask for the referrals, grow your centers of influence, all of those things, let us do it. And so for me as a coach, there's nothing more that excites me than training the Myras and the ones that you guys put into your team, your producers, but then also having that time with you guys as agency owners to then take, here's my everything in my brain as an agency owner, let me download 15 years into you guys. Then I have to be challenged too. There's times when I would have meetings with Caleb and I'm like, okay, I know Caleb's going to ask me some serious questions. I got to make sure my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. And if it wasn't Caleb, it was his producer that was asking me the questions. So I had to continue to invest into myself so that I could be the best that I could be. And as agency owners, you guys have the amazing ability to then be able to invest and pour in and change lives because of your guys' ability to be able to do that as an agency owner. So that's huge, and just one of the reasons why we have Producers Academy today. So I'm gonna go to Caleb this time, but I'm gonna leave you alone to pick on you first. So I'm gonna go to Caleb here. Caleb knows I normally pick on him. So
It's true.
But think about this. I was thinking about this, Caleb, but building and leading a successful team, right? We all want successful teams as an agent, but building and leading that successful team, it's really crucial in the insurance industry. So how has the Producers Academy equipped you to not only excel personally, but to also lead your team to greater heights?
Yeah, so the Producers Academy really happened at a really important time for me and my agency. We had just a situation where we had to start servicing part of another book in the area, and it really took me away from selling. Since we were only 7-8 months in at the time, we were still building our team out. I had producers, but wasn't necessarily needing a customer service rep, since we started scratch, 0 policies on the book. And so I was doing most of that work, but I still had the ability to sell while doing that because, we weren't that large yet. But as soon as these kind of got dropped on my lap, I found myself pulled from sell and started to see the agency's numbers as a whole dip a little bit. So I immediately knew I got to do something to help my producers get to another level. And so when we went into the Producers Academy, very first month, obviously I saw production increase in my producer. And then kind of like Jen was talking about, we took those things we learned and we kind of just implemented them as an agency. We didn't just keep it, tight with Mark, who went through the program, but our other producer was using them too. And we saw some really good progress with him as well. So as a whole for us, we found that with Producers Academy, and it gave us a plan and it gave us a process that we use each time, to where now my two producers are producing more in the agency than when I was selling and there was 3 of us selling. So just 2 people selling, we're doing more. And so now we're in a position where we're growing fast. And we also are going to be needing a customer service rep here really soon because of the different things we were able to implement from the Producers Academy. And then just as far as how we plan to use it to help us maintain that, the really cool part about it is we know Producers Academy is there. And when I bring somebody on, like you were talking about, Trista, if I'm in a position where I worry that I may not have the time to invest in them the way they deserve it, I also want to put them through the Producers Academy to where they can grow and they can instantly have that confidence to take on those calls and make those calls and talk to new prospective clients. To whereas if they weren't able to get training as quickly, that growth it may take a while. So having something like the Producers Academy is really awesome in the back of my mind, knowing if I'm missing a spot where that producer isn't growing as well, I know the Producers Academy is there and I can use it and they can go through it and immediately get to another level that they may not have seen themselves at month 2 or 3, where they would have thought, man, this was what I was expecting a year down the road.
Yeah.
So I really love that because it enables us, like you said, as an agency owner with everything else we have going on, we have that tool now in our tool belt to where we can use it and it helps us grow so much quicker and get to a spot where they're independent so much quicker.
Yeah, I love that. And I think too, to talk about your producer here for a minute, Mark, whenever my very first call that I had with both of you guys, or second call, I can't remember which one it was, he asked a question, and we kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago, but he asked, like, do you believe that I could at some point in my career hit $25,000 a month? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, do you think that that's too radical to think like that? And the last month in PA, he hit $30,000 in just 3 months of going from what was his highest, I think 12,000, I think, or 15,000.
Just under 13.
Yeah, just under 13,000, right? To then go to $30,000 in 1 month to keep pushing. Because July at first, he was like, I don't know about this. But then when he closed July, and to see that happened in 3 months versus happening in 6 or 9 or 12 or 2 years down the road is huge. And so again, you're making that impact as an agency owner, and it's really, taking your agency to that greater height. So Jen, I'm going to ask you the same question, then I'm going to ask Valerie a different question because she thinks she's going to have the answer to that, but I'm going to hit her with a different one. So Jen, what would you say coming into this and how it's really equipped you to lead your team to those greater heights, to pour into that team? Because you saw a massive movement in your team from your team production going up and your team attendance for meetings being there and going up. And so how has that really played a huge part, Jen, as an agency owner?
I would, as an agency owner, it's huge because if you don't have something to give back, then what is the point of doing it? I actually had 2 girls that, 2 of my agents were in PA. One of them just went and initiated herself, which was awesome. And when I saw her on there, I was like, wow, so she saw the value from it, 100%. To answer the question, like, being an agency owner, it's not easy, right? You wear so many different hats. And again, like I said, like for me, I feel like it's always a circus act, in my mind, I'm hearing, so like all these hats are constantly changing, I'm also personally producing. I'm also, running a team. I'm also hiring. So like I do a lot of those different things. And again, if I don't have something to give myself or to give back to my team, then it's pointless. You can only get so much content from so many different places, but you also got to go and grab from other places that you've never been before. A lot of these top income earners, top people, see a lot of them all, they also have somebody that they are coached by. There's not nobody that's not getting some kind of coaching from somewhere, so yeah, so being with PA, you guys did definitely give me some content, some a lot of good things to look at differently, and things to track and things to keep track of and implement in my team. So it's been a lot of help. It really has increase the flow of who's paying attention and how to cast that vision to my team. I wasn't doing a very good job at casting that vision, or taking it seriously and constantly implementing it every time we had a meeting.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. All right, Valerie, it's your turn. Are you ready for this?
Ready or not?
Ready or not? Here I come, right, Val?
Right.
No, I just remember working with you, Valerie, and then the agents that you put in, right? Your big thing that you wanted, that you and I talked about, yes, you wanted to hit numbers. You wanted to hit goals that you've never hit before. You did that in the first Producers Academy. You broke a record for yourself. You're doing that. You just did that again where you broke a record for your team. And so, but another thing was your retention, right? And that by meaning customer service, delivering that top great customer service, and really being able to do that in such a way. And so we all know, I mean, look at insurance right now, that the insurance landscape is constantly evolving. But how really, Val, has the Producers Academy helped you kind of stay ahead of maybe some of the trends? But then most importantly, how has it empowered you to provide top-notch service to your clients, and then empowered you to teach your agents how to provide that top-notch service to your clients?
Yeah, so I mean, I've learned that we have agents everywhere. I mean, your next door neighbor, you don't realize it. I mean, everybody sells insurance, policies get replaced all the time. And so I wanted to find out, like, how do I set myself and my agency apart from other agents and agencies, right? Because there are some companies out there that obviously policies are a dime a dozen to them, right? To me, it's more than that. It's more than the money to me, because I've actually experienced the death with no life insurance. So I want to make sure that other families don't go through the same thing. So I want to know, how can I set myself apart from that? And going through Producers Academy, I learned about the value proposition document, which is what I print out. I send that to all my clients with their welcome packet personally, thank you letter from me, handwritten, magnet, business card, and a couple other goodies as well, because I want my client to feel loved and not just another number. And so I reach out to them. I love on them. I, do yearly policy reviews with them. I check in with them. I remember the conversations we have, what they going through. I just make sure that I touch them over the phone, in the mail, at their house, whatever it may be, if I'm in the area, more than other agencies do.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Valerie. And that was a big conversation that we had. I remember having the conversation with you on one of our one-on-one coachings, and you're like, well, what do I even put in this packet? And then to see you now teaching your agents of what to put in it and how to prepare a value proposition document. And I think at one point I even teased you. I was like, Valerie, you ready to teach Producers Academy for me today? And so all three of you could do it. I know you could. So that's definitely huge. But I'm going to direct the question to you, Caleb. I'm going to hear it from a PNC side. How has really the Producer Academy helped you to kind of empower you and your team to provide that top-notch service? Because I know that's something that's very, very important to you, to your team, to make sure they're properly protected, all of that. How has that really been a game changer for you?
Yeah, it's been a huge part for us. And one of the first things that came to mind when I heard that question was a lot of what Valerie said in the value proposition document, but we use a term called personal brand here. And that just means is when we're talking with our clients, we want them to know what separates us. And while we were in the Producers Academy, Trista had taught on that a little bit. And I remember sitting with my two producers and asking them, okay, so guys, when you talk to somebody on the phone and you're telling them what makes us great, I'm curious, what is that? And is it anything different than what they're hearing from every other person they talk to? If we don't have anything, then we need to get something about us that makes us different. Not make it up, it needs to be real. And so we sat, it was a whiteboard event. We were writing everything down, only true things, right? And if there was something we felt was missing, well, guess what? That had to be added. We had to learn how to implement it. And so that was a huge, huge part for us, was figuring out what we offer that makes us different. What does that look like for our clients? And then the other part was, I didn't know when I came into the insurance industry that supposedly we're in this insurance cycle that the insurance industry has never seen before. I didn't know that it ever existed. I didn't know that was a thing in the insurance industry until I joined, and everyone's like, wow, you really came in during a hard time. I was like, I guess, I don't know. It's all I know. But things are changing, and the way we can write policies are changing, and what policies we can write are changing. And that really started to hit in the last, 6 months for me specifically in my agency. And so having the ability and the access to Trista, to you, Trista, was a huge part because I know that you were someone who had been through that before. And so having the ability to talk to you and to speak with somebody who has been there before, as somebody who was only 9 to 10 months in at the time, really gave me the confidence to where we're going to get past this. We're going to pivot when we need to pivot. Joe Campert always says that pivot's one of his favorite words. And I've adopted that because right now we have to. And so you talked about specifically, hey, Caleb, maybe you guys need to write a little bit more life insurance, right? Maybe you need to focus on this. And so we've really looked into that. We've changed different campaigns for our current clients, asking them different questions. And so it's just been a really good eye opener for us. Having the access to somebody who has been there and done that has enabled me to stay ahead of the curve a little bit, as opposed to waiting to see the damage already takes place and then having to find out how I can pivot. Being able to do that before and talking to somebody who has been through it has enabled me to do it before. It wasn't just because we decided to, but having the knowledge from somebody else like yourself was such a huge factor.
Awesome. Because it is so true. We're constantly trying to find more ways and get creative to ensure and ultimately to make sure that our clients are properly protected. And that's our goal, right? And so, Jen, I'm going to call on you here, and you're muted, so I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself there. So here's the cool thing. Jen and I were just talking prior to this, and we were laughing, her and I. She had me laughing so hard. I was like, Jen, I can't. So, but we were talking about no insurance agent ever has challenges, right? I mean, it's just easy breezy, right? Nobody ever has a challenge. And we just wake up and it's all sunshine and gumdrops and, all of that, right? And so, Jen, what would you say if you could share an example or maybe just how you've been able to implement a creative approach that maybe you learned in the Producers Academy on how to overcome a challenge in your agency, to overcome that your team or something like that? What have you learned to be able to overcome that in your agency?
What have I learned?
It's a highly loaded question there, Jen.
What have I learned? I've learned a lot. So for me in my agency, I live by, like when I'm talking to somebody, hiring somebody, new agent comes on, I always tell everybody I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not currently doing myself. So again, I'm also personally producing with them. I get the same leads they get. I get the finance leads. I buy them off the leads away. I get the live transfer. So like I can relate to every situation that they're having. I also can relate to the fact that when you don't sell, it's character building days, but you're planting those seeds. So again, like just staying positive when it seems so negative and icky, and people don't really know what's on the other side of that wall, so people don't realize the things that I go through because I'm not allowed to really, throw that off. But having PA and joining you guys, actually, like you gave me an accountability partner, which I connected with Valerie. We are connected in so many ways already, but we never actually connected like we really did this go round. And I mean, I can honestly say I found someone that's on my level and that gets me, and I mean, it's an awesome relationship that her and I have acquired from this, and it's going to be a long lasting relationship because I can count on her to call me out on my BS, like, okay, well, you're looking at it like this. Why don't you look at it like this? And I did that earlier, I was like mad about something that was stupid. And then she was like, dude, look at it like this. I was like, man, you're right. Okay, well, let me shut up. Let me be grateful. The fact that I'm even at the position that I'm at. So I don't know if that really
no, it does.
The answer that you're looking for, but I mean, it's all about how you perceive things. I have a great mentor and manager, David David Price is just really, really poured into me. And I always tell him he's impeccable. He is human, but again, he's impeccable. He always watches what he says and how he says things. And I try to implement the things that he's taught me as well. So again, just being positive, even when things seem to be so gloomy and negative, knowing that, I always tell people, like I've had days where I've made no money either. I've had lead debt catch up to me. I wasn't producing, but then I had to not point the finger. I had to point the thumb. Like that was my fault. I was playing around. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, so then that's where, I'm able to take what I've learned myself personally and, give that back to other agents as well and let them know, hey, I know exactly what you're going through, but what are you doing? Where do you play the role at in this? Where's your thumb at? So it's a lot, man. It's amazing that, you can connect with people on a different level when you do things like this, so I appreciate you, Trista, for constantly giving us things, the activity tracker thing you gave us, I have that activity tracker where it's like a live tracker. I can see them coming in and out and who's actually paying attention and plugging into it.
Yeah.
Just lots of notes again. I have lots of content to give back. It's been a good I don't know, what was it, like 12 weeks? Is that how long we went?
12 weeks,
I don't
actually
know.
13. You guys got 13 weeks. You got
13.
that extra week
That's
with
right.
us. And
That's
so,
right.
and so I love it. If you guys listen, yes, if you guys, like, you have to rewind to what Jen just said there, because there were so many nuggets that she said. She said the days that she didn't have a sale, she could have looked at it as like, but she looked at it as this is a character building day. She looked at it as this is a seed planting day. She saw that accountability was crucial for her, and that the accountability that she had with Valerie. And there would be times when Valerie would be like, what's your numbers, or what are you doing? And those two, it was always fun to watch those two going at it and keeping themselves accountable.
She liked giving me these fake numbers, Tristan. So I'd go work harder. I'm like, man, I gotta catch up to her. That's not right. Like, let's go.
She would tell me that too. She would tell me. She'd be like, I sent her this number. But there were so many golden nuggets.
I was manifesting, okay? I was manifesting it.
I love it. I love that. Awesome. Caleb, I'm going to direct that question to you here. As an agency owner, what would you say? Because you've talked about, you've implemented things not just for your one producer, but for your other producer. And I know that when you bring your customer service rep in, these things will be replicated and taught to them as well. But what would you say is something that maybe you've implemented to be able to overcome a challenge in your agency? What would you say that what something there is that you've learned and that you've implemented now as an agency owner?
One of the biggest things Producers Academy did for not just my producer, but myself, was it instilled confidence. And one of the biggest things, and I think leadership, is knowing that I don't know everything, but being willing to try to keep learning. And so we take that approach all the time. We're continually trying to learn. We'll have books that we're reading as a team. We do just different things to stay on the same page, and to, like Jen said, just the mindset in sales can be taxing. So different things to make sure that we're all in a good space mentally,
Yeah.
And then what we also do is we do our activity that we track. I've changed it to where we don't necessarily track sales. Obviously, that's the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
But Trista always says activity equals results. And so that made me think, okay, what if the goals we put in place for the agency were activity goals, not sales goals? Because the right activities will lead to the right results. And so we've created like a 3-tiered system of what are the 3 activities, a specific number for these 3 different categories that we're looking for every day. And if they hit one of those 3, the day's been a success. It doesn't matter if the sale has been done or not. And so I try to instill them, success is the activity you put in, not the result that it came out. You can only control the words that come out of your mouth, right? And so that's kind of how we try to do it. And my goal and my hope is that enables my producers to have a more positive outlook on the days. So those days they don't get a sale, they can say, hey, I put in the right activities today. I hit these activity goals, and I know sales will come from the activity I did today.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not today, maybe it's down the road. And to that point, that's why my producer Mark was able to have the largest month he ever had. 80% of that came in 1 week, but the week prior to that, he got more quotes out than he ever has in a week. So those co-align with each other. And so that's kind of what we have learned through tracking the activity that we learned in the Producers Academy, and finding out unique ways to do it versus just saying, hey, how many sales did you have this week? No, how many of this, which is just based on their effort. If their effort's there, the results will come.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right, Valerie, it's your turn, my friend. What would you say was that one thing, or maybe something that you've really implemented to help really overcome a challenge in your agency? I mean, I know you have no challenges, Valerie, so this might be difficult to answer, but what would you say to be able to overcome a challenge? What have you done, or how have you been able to implement, and how's PA been able to help you with that?
So, and I know I said this in last PA, but coming into the industry, I had no goals set. I didn't know how to set goals. I didn't know how to obtain it. I didn't know how to time block, right? And kind of like scale everything down to what fire do I need to put out right now? What is time consuming? What is, needs to be handled now? And time blocking saved my life back in February after my brother passed. And so I see when other agents are coming in and they're struggling, they're like, I just can't do it. What's going on? I'm like, okay, no problem. I pull out my handy dandy document from February and I just edit, and I plug in those numbers and break down what their time blocking schedule is. And it's crazy how when you actually write that down, scale back the numbers, break it down to something that's an obtainable goal, instead of looking at the 25,000, you're now looking at like the $68 monthly premium. It's more obtainable for our agents to be able to hit that goal. And so I love my time blocking document. I use it with each person, each agent, like, hey, schedule a one-on-one. We're going to time block. We're going to make you get to that goal. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get there. And I'll be there with you every step of the way. And that has been absolutely amazing to overcome the challenge of being stagnant, right? Because for so long, my agency was just stuck at this specific number of under 50,000. And once I get stagnant, I don't like it. We got to do something different. And that was something that I implemented to be able to reach the goals that we have reached now, on top of finding out what my bottleneck is in hiring.
Gotcha. I love it. I love it. And I love that each of you guys all have your own perspective, your own challenges, but your own way to be able to overcome those challenges. And so super, super awesome. The thing is, it's intense, and it's definitely the reason why is because when we do hard things, that's when we grow. When we stay in our comfort zone, there's no growth, right? And so this is your opportunity. If you're listening and you're an agency owner, or even if you're saying, hey, this is something that I need for myself, this is your opportunity to say, I want in, because we have made it super affordable. We've rolled out curriculum. We've never done that before. We've rolled out special packages that are available for you guys, but we made it in such a way there's going to be hot seats where you're going to be able to be on, and call reviews that you're going to be able to do, and training that you're going to be able to have with me. And so I get the amazing privilege, if you're an agency owner, that I can train your agents or your producers, or if you're an agent and you're saying, hey, I need this for myself, I'm new to the industry, or I want to sharpen up my sales skills, let me tell you, like, that's awesome too. You guys might not know this because I don't really share a lot about this outside of my internal team, but I take sales classes because I want to constantly sharpen myself in sales. Yes, I'm the teacher of it, but I take classes to sharpen me. And when it comes to my time to role play, I'm always like, I hate this, I don't want to do this. But then I have to remind myself, in order for me to get better, so that the people that is underneath me to train and produce, and for them to get better, I got to get better. And so John Maxwell says it best. He says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I want to make sure that I'm always leveling up to the next room, so that I'm not the smartest in there, so that I can grow and get better. And this is your opportunity. Agency owners, I'm talking to you right now. This is your opportunity. Producers, agents, insurance guys, I'm talking to you, that you will learn. I'm confident. I stand behind this. You're going to learn so much. But that's it. You can be there and you can have the success that you want to see, whether it be whatever that is, whatever that success is for you, you can attain it through Producers Academy.